Welcome to Cheese in Depth. I'm Michael Landis, and today we have some very special guests on, and we're going to be talking about olive oil, but not just any olive oil. This is a very special version of the olive oil, and there's a lot of information that we're going to look at. We're going to look at how it's made, and also we're going to look at what makes it so unique. And so I'm going to turn it over to our guests, and they're going to start off with a little story about themselves. So, Maria.
Welcome. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Charlotte Piro. This is Romain Piro, and this is Daniele Lepori. And we are the team producing and bringing to you Olio Piro from Tuscany. And we are very excited to tell you a little bit more how this all started and how this is really happening. And most of all, give you a few tips on how to choose your olive oil and how to enjoy it. Now we are very excited to broadcast here from Chèvre, Miami, a new store that just opened a couple of weeks ago at 1295 Coral Way. So Romain, it's on.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having us. We are very happy always to share our common passion for extra virgin olive oil, high quality producing all together in Tuscany. So we are here with Daniele Lepori, our master miller.
Hello.
And he's gonna tell us a few words. I'm gonna translate from Italian, maybe just about what we are exactly doing. And then, as Charlotte said, we're gonna talk a little bit about olive oil in general. And voila.
Daniele.
Salve a tutti, sono Daniele Lepori, ho un'azienda in Toscana, un frantoio che produce olio extravergine di oliva e sono il produttore di Piro.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Daniele Lepori, the owner of this farm in the south of Tuscany and producing olio Piro.
Proprio in questa settimana, prima di venire qui negli Stati Uniti, a Miami, della mia prima volta, quindi sono molto emozionato.
So, prima di questo, sì.
Proprio in questa settimana siamo riusciti a...
Sì, so this week is we made it to Miami, coming here to present our oil finally with Marie-Charlotte, and it's my very first time ever, not in Miami, but even in the US, first trip of my life, so I'm thrilled about it.
And we're very happy to have them, I have to say.
E niente, abbiamo fatto una fusione molto importante, quindi oltre a produrre sul Monte Amiata, inizieremo questo fantastico viaggio nell'olio, inizieremo la nostra produzione in un frantoio che abbiamo acquistato in Montalcino, nella terra del Brunello.
So we've just made a few days ago a fusion of our factory with we are still on the Monte Amiata, and we're going to move from a few miles away to produce our olive oil now on the Montalcino area. So we are thrilled about this because it's there where they produce the famous Brunello di Montalcino. So we're now going to produce our olive oil right there. It's very near our actual place, but it's going to be a very jump towards quality and unicity. So we are thrilled about this as well.
Very good. So please allow me to put up a couple of visuals for you. So Piro, we are a high antioxidant extra virgin olive oil, and we are very proud to bring it to you in the US. What we feel is very important is that there are a lot of very good olive oils and premium olive oils in the world, a lot of delicious in the world olive oils of our caliber. However, few of them make it to the US, and we are very proud to bring it to you today. We've been on the market for only 2 years, and we sell mainly online. We also have retailers all around the US, and let us tell you a little bit more about it. So this is us. This is me, Romain and Daniele. This is a photo that was taken during the harvest of the 2021 blend. We are extremely proud. It just arrived here in the US, and we're starting shipping it out. As you might know, the harvest takes place once a year. We are early harvest olive oil, which means we start harvesting usually in the middle of October. At that time, we have about 4 weeks window to be able to get our olive very, very, very unripe. And we, of course, right away after we harvest, we produce right away and bottle right away. So once a year, our olive oil arrives here in the US. And this is, we're going to tell you the journey that took us there. So, Romain, you started producing olives and then you got together with Daniele, right?
Yes, exactly. This was about a little more than 10 years ago. And so I was producing my olives and brought them to the mill. And I thought that my oil was so great because my olives were perfect. But I actually discovered quite quickly that my oil was fantastic, of course, because of the olives are in the perfect state and harvested and transported to the mill. But I really learned that the way the miller works and the machine used and the whole process is everything. So the person really making the olive oil is the frantoiano, is the miller. And that day I really decided to stick to Daniele Lepori and don't let him go anywhere. So we get into the business together because he's the best to me to transform, to create this magical product, which is the extra virgin olive oil. And there's no one to me as passionate and a little bit crazy and very much talented as Daniele. So
How long was your partnership? How long have you been working together?
It's almost 10 years now.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
And I started importing Piro in 2020 in the US. And our first cargo arrived in March 2020. So our timing was not good, but we had to learn e-commerce and selling online, which is what we did. And this is how we get the olive oil to you. So let's talk a little bit about the harvest process, Romain. When, how do you harvest? Why do you harvest the way you do?
So, yeah, of course, producing a very high quality, high phenolic content extra virgin olive oil means you have to respect very many different steps, but very precisely. So you have to harvest a very healthy olive. So you can't wait for the olive to become too ripe. So it's really important to harvest an olive which is changing from green to black. So it's the moment it becomes a little, even a little bit purple. It's beautiful. And the way you harvest, of course, we use mechanical process by hand. We try to not damage neither the olive when you harvest, don't crush it, so it would bring an oxidated olive to the mill, and we don't want that. You want the olive to arrive at the mill in a perfect shape and to not damage too much the plant, because there is the techniques that really break many branches, and so it's not ideal. So really the hand pick is the best. It's longer, more difficult, it's a heavy work, but that's what you have to do.
And how long, Romain, do you wait until you actually crush the olives and make the olive oil?
When the olive is harvested, you have 12 hours to really bring it inside the machine and process it. So we harvest in the morning, the olives are crushed and processed in the afternoon, and the oil is ready early evening, and the work is finished for them, and the next day the same. So it's a non-stop process.
So now here's a photo of Daniele in the mill in our frantoio. Frantoio means mill in Italian. And I have to say that our olive oil is very special for many reasons. Number one, the varieties of olives that we use are very specific. They are harvested early and in a very careful manner. But most of all, they are processed in a very unique way, which goes beyond the original pressing and filtering of the oil, which is what most people do. But Daniele, after we finish the traditional way of crushing the oil, we actually have a second filtering system, which is the one you see right here. It's a prototype. It is completely revolutionary, and it's something that we are very proud of. And I'm going to let maybe Daniele tell us a few words about it, and we'll translate it for you very quickly.
Che parole sul filtro?
Allora, questo è un macchinario molto particolare che è stato studiato sia da me sia dal Centro Nazionale di Ricerche Italiane.
So this is a very specific machine which was developed with us and the National Scientific Committee of Italy. So we are working together on this project.
È un filtro che possediamo in questo momento solo noi.
So it's a filter that we are the only one to be using at the moment.
Ma anche quando andrà in produzione su larga scala,
But even when it's going to be produced and distributed,
le modifiche apportate da me non verranno prodotte dall'azienda.
so the little personal touches I put on this machine would not be included in the, because it's now 3 years we are using this machine, and of course we learn how to use it at its best, and we develop few tricks with it.
La particolarità di questo filtro, in poche parole, è molto semplice.
The particularity, the singularity of this filter in few words are very simple.
Fino ad oggi si poteva filtrare o con del cartone,
Until today, we were able to filter with some kind of paper filters,
o mediante farine fossili.
or through some fossil flour system, which was the other way of filtering.
E grazie a questo filtro lenticolare,
So thanks to this lenticular filter,
noi filtriamo l'olio mediante una pressione molto grande.
we are now filtering using another technique, which is under a very high pressure
All'interno di housing di acciaio inox.
inside very big the housing that you can see on this picture,
In assenza di ossigeno.
and under a complete lack of oxygen environment.
Questo ha un vantaggio enorme
And this has a huge advantage
perché l'olio non entra a contatto con altre sostanze.
because the oil does not get in contact with any other substance.
Questo processo, infine,
So this process at the end
ci consente di stabilizzare l'olio,
allows us to stabilize the oil
che è la grande particolarità di Piro.
and makes the big particularity of singularity of Piro.
Piro è un olio ricchissimo di vitamina E, quindi di antiossidanti,
Piro is a very high content, has a very high content of vitamin E, of antioxidant,
e grazie a questi procedimenti tecnologici
and thanks to all this technological process,
l'anno solare in cui viene prodotto
the solar year in which it is produced,
l'olio non muta mai.
the oil will stay stable within this time. I mean, for 1 year, it's going to stay perfectly stable using this filter,
E non cambia la sua qualità.
and the quality is not affected. So the quality remains the same for 1 year from the production.
So are you saying that other oils that are premium oils would change their flavor from January all the way
Altri
to
oli-
December?
Ci sarà una modifica.
Non ho capito, sorry.
No problem. So yeah, of course, not using this filter, you can't reach the purity that we are able to reach now with the product, and this is what makes the oil in time loses many of its properties. So some oil would lose it faster, or some maybe would last a little longer. But in this way, I believe that no other oil can stay that stable and exactly as they were the day they were produced as Piro.
Well, very good. So let's move to the other slide. So look at this. This is Romain and I tasting the oil coming right out of the filter. And let me tell you, this is an absolute genuine picture, but this is how we feel when we taste this absolutely amazing oil. It has, the taste is undescribable. It starts with a bitter taste, then it moves, and then you taste the fruity, and then of course the absolutely amazing peppery taste of Piro. And when it just comes out of the meal, it's the most extraordinary thing to experience. And what's very specific with our oil is that not only it tastes absolutely amazing when it comes out of the press and of the filtration system, but our goal from there is to keep this oil in exactly the same shape all the way to your table, which means we use very specific bottling system, which is under nitrogen environment. The oil, after it is filtered, does not have contact with oxygen anymore. It is also kept away from light, and it is imported in the US with a climate control cargo. And our goal is really, when you open your bottle of Piro on your table, you will taste exactly as it does when it came out of the mill, and we are very proud of this.
Yeah.
So Piro is a wonderful oil that you would use for many different uses. It was named the best olive oil for cooking by the Wall Street Journal, which means this is an oil that will stand up to saute, to baking, to poaching, to roasting. This is an oil that has a very high smoke point. We are in the high 300, our smoke point is 385. It's very high. And it allows you really to use the oil, and it will allow you to have the flavor that will really come into your cooking as an ingredient, as opposed to being just as a condiment. And that's a very important part of our Piro olive oil. So of course, that's an olive oil that you will love using as a finishing oil. You will finish anything you can think of, from stews, fish, meat, rice, pasta, spicy dishes, of course, salads, grilled vegetables. All of this is something where you're gonna have your Piro on your table, and just before you eat it, your food, you're going to put a little drizzle of Piro. And trust me, this will change everything in your experience of the olive oil. And I think Daniele might have something to say about it. Romain.
See, yeah, what do you tell me?
The importance of Piro as a molecular ingredient. No.
Sì. Yeah.
Allora,
Il fatto di usare Piro con il cibo, qual è la cosa che lo fa, che
allora,
crea questa sensazione?
Allora, le sensazioni di Piro sono assolutamente uniche nel proprio genere, perché noi lavoriamo questo blend, quindi è una ricetta mia segreta.
So the sensation that creates, that provokes the Piro are really unique, because this is the fruit really of what we wanted to do, and the receipt that we are creating in order to make this blend, this Piro.
Ma come ho sempre spiegato, Piro non è un condimento, ma un vero e proprio ingrediente.
But as I used to say, Piro is not a condiment anymore, but it is it becomes an ingredient.
E una volta raccontato tutta questa parte tecnologica e tutta questa parte che fa bene alla salute,
And once we talk about all the technological aspect of it, and the fact that his healthy properties, etc.,
non possiamo non raccontare la parte pratica.
we can't avoid talking about the practical aspect of it, how to use it.
Che qualunque piatto, qualunque cibo con Piro migliora.
And that whatever food Piro would be in contact with would be improved, would be enhanced.
Io faccio sempre un piccolo esempio, ma molto pratico.
I always take the small example, which is very practical.
Spesso torniamo a casa dal lavoro stanchi e magari ci siamo dimenticati di fare la spesa.
Very often we come back home, we are a little tired, maybe we forgot to buy food for the evening to cook.
Beh, io vi posso garantire
But I really can guarantee you
che un piatto di pasta in bianco, un piatto di riso in bianco o una semplice fetta di pane,
but I really tell you that just a plate of pasta or white rice or just a slice of bread
con Piro sarà comunque un momento indimenticabile.
with Piro on it, it will become a moment, unforgettable moment anyway. It will make something very simple becoming very unique. And that's our experience. True.
Well, thank you very much, Daniele. Piro is not the only great olive oil in the US. There are others. Even that we feel we're pretty good and high on the, you know, on the list, but we would like to give you a few advice on how to recognize in a store a good olive oil. And I'm going to hand it to Romain.
So yeah, as you can see on this slide, very often people are asking, so okay, it's great, you're doing something amazing, but now when I go to the shop, how do I recognize an oil which was properly made and bottled and taken to me? So I always give this example. Olive oil is a very fragile product, and I very often take the example, the comparison with wine. So I said, you would never buy a bottle of red wine, supposed to be high quality red wine, in a transparent bottle, a glass or plastic or whatever, but even transparent, because the light would really damage it. So it's the same with olive oil. So you want an olive oil which is kept in a very dark container, and glass is really the best way to keep either wine, either olive oil. So you want a dark glass bottle. And of course, on this bottle, there is few things you really need to know. So you want to know when this oil was made, because as we said before, even if now we reach a point where our oil lasts quite long, but it's not the case of the majority of olive oil. And you want to know this oil was made during the last harvest season. So you need the date of harvest on the bottle.
So
and
what's the difference between date of harvest and bottling date? Because a lot of bottles have a bottling date. Is it good enough?
No, because of course you can make the oil and store it, and then you bottle it, and you don't know how long it was stored, and this is not an indication you need. So you want written on it date of harvest. And of course, you want to know what you're drinking. So if it's a good quality red wine, you want to know which castle, which property, which clo, where it's from, and so who made it, and what kind of grapes are inside. This is the same with olive oil. You want to know the origin of the olives, the name, the type of olives, and if it's a blend, if it's a monocultivar, and the country of production. So you might not want to a mix of olives from many different countries, maybe, because it's almost impossible to reach a high quality and working perfectly in this way. So this is how to recognize a bottle in a shop. That are the 3 points that really helps you to know if you have something serious in hand.
So I think Daniele wanted to say something.
Volevo dire una cosa importante.
I wanted to tell you something important.
Anche nel mondo della qualità,
even in the world of quality,
siamo abituati ad avere prodotti standardizzati.
We are getting used to have products which are very standardized.
Sempre quel tipo di prodotto, sempre quel tipo di sapore, sempre quel tipo di profumo.
Always the same kind of product, with the same taste, with the same aromas.
E il nostro palato è come un computer.
And our palate is like a computer.
Se noi non aggiorniamo questo computer,
if we are not doing any updates,
il nostro palato si annoierà.
Our palate is gonna really get bored.
Ecco dov'è la peculiarità di Piro.
And this is a very specific aspect of Piro.
Ho avuto la fortuna o l'impegno di diventare uno dei migliori frantoiani al mondo.
I've been lucky enough, while becoming now one of the best miller in the world, told by my peers.
E Piro è un blend.
So Piro is a blend of olives.
Quindi ogni anno cerco le migliori olive della Toscana.
So every year we would look for the best olives in Tuscany.
E dell'Italia.
And in other places of Italy, if we don't find them in Tuscany.
per creare in ogni annata
to create for every season
un'annata unica per Piro.
a unique, let's say, millésime would be for the wine, but just a unique season in the same line, of course, as it was before, but always trying to improve and make it always a little more special.
In conclusione,
And to conclude,
se vi siete innamorati del Piro di un'annata
if
e
you
vi siete stupiti di quel sapore,
if you've been amazed and if you fell in love with the Piro from 1 year,
il team Piro
our team
continuerà a stupirvi ogni anno.
will most probably keep amazed you in the future.
So that is so exciting. Thank you, Daniele.
Thank you.
Now, how to recognize an olive oil that is no longer in a bottle, but that you can taste maybe at a restaurant or you can taste in someone's house? How do you recognize it's a good oil? Well, I'm going to give it to Romain again, but there's a few very specific items that you're going to look for in an oil that you taste that will tell you if it is a good oil or it's not a good oil.
Yeah, so you see the little list written here. So of course, bitterness, fruitiness, peppery are three main aspects of high quality olive oil. It means it has a very high phenolic content, a very high vitamin E content, which are antioxidants, tocopherol. So it means you've been working with very healthy olives in a proper way, with the right machines, with the best Frontoiano, sorry, Mila. So this is something that you look for in a supposed to be high quality olive oil. Bitter, fruity, and peppery are three signs of quality. You can't make them fake on this. And if it does, there is a lack of one of these three aspects, it means something went wrong at some point. And for example, for the international contest, they requires these three aspects. You need bitter, fruity, and peppery, and then all the declination behind that, and in different presence of it. But so it's a very important to have that, and the fact it's not viscous, it's very after drinking, tasting in whatever way the olive oil, drinking it pure, after a few minutes your mouth is completely dry. It doesn't leave a sensation of greasy, oily. It disappeared completely, and this is very important to recognize an oil which was properly made by professionals.
So very nice. Thank you, Romain. And finally, these are very important numbers that everyone should know, and that we think should be written on a bottle of oil, but unfortunately, no one is obligated to do so. But these are very important numbers that will tell you that this is a good oil. First of all, it has to have a very low acidity. Under 0.8% is acceptable. Same thing, you want a certain number of polyphenol per kilogram of your product, and a good olive oil is considered good from 250 milligram. Now, just for information, Piro boasts a good 700 to 750 milligram of polyphenol per kilogram. So this is way above this number. Same thing for the oleic acid. You need no less than 70% of oleic acid in your oil. Piro has 83%. We're very high in oleic acid. The oleic acid being the good stuff, which is all the health benefits from lower blood pressure, antioxidants. The oleic acid is what carries a lot of your health benefits. So let's look a little bit at the Piro bottle for a minute. So it looks like Piro bottle is bringing as everything we're looking for here, and more. And we're going to go back to the fact that it's very important for us to bring you an oil that tastes exactly the same from the meal to your table. So in addition to everything we spoke about, we have a very specific antioxidation cap. that allows us to keep the oxygen away after you have opened the bottle for the first time. So it minimizes the oxygen flow, and that also will prevent the oil from degrading during the time your bottle is open and you're using it in your home. So Piro has 750 milligram of polyphenol per kilogram, which is very, very high. And we have 83% oleic acid. Our acidity is how much, Romain?
Quanto eravamo di acidità quest'anno?
Non abbiamo raggiunto lo 0,2.
0.2%.
Below 0.2. Below.
Okay. There's also something very specific with our bottle, which is it is made of vetri speciali, which is very specific glass made in the province of Trentino, and that is a glass that is of course tempered, that is anti-UV, but most of all it is also anti-phthalates, which means no residue from the glass could even ever translate to the olive oil, and we are very, very proud of this. Our bottle is just beautiful. And of course, you will find on our bottle our harvest date, which is always November of the year. And our oil is good for 18 months, even October. And our oil is good for 18 months from the date of harvest. And we are very proud to tell you that from day 1 to the 18th month, it will have exactly the same properties, and it will be just as delicious as it was the first day. And finally, of course, our olives are 100% Italian. Most of them come from Tuscany, but we do source out some specific olives as well, just to keep the oil as delicious as possible. Wonderful. I'm thrilled to go through them. So Romain will answer. So it's a finishing oil. Yes, it is, and it's also a cooking oil. You can do both with that. And actually, a chef that works with us likes to say, Piro is so good that you use it twice. You cook with it and you finish with it. And trust me, the taste of your cuisine will be upgraded. It's a wonderful oil to do both. Other question: how long Piro lasts? Over 2 years? Well, we giving you 18 months of optimal Piro, where we can absolutely guarantee that the oil is going to be just as good as it was when it came out of the mill. However, I use my Piro for a good 2 years, and it's absolutely delicious. The oil doesn't become bad for you, it just becomes less optimal than it was before. But you can absolutely use your bottle for a good 2 years. And the more we work with the CNR, the Italian Center of Research, with this new prototype of filter, the longer our oil will become optimal. And it's very possible that in a year or two, our best buy date will be 2 years. We're working on this.
Exactly.
Salima. Hi,
olives?
Salima, by the way. Which olives? So, Romain.
So Daniele, forse sarebbe interessante sentirti.
Allora, abbiamo delle cultivar.
So we work on various cultivar.
Che sono le basi del Piro.
So which are the base of our oil Piro.
E che sono cultivar che crescono unicamente in Toscana.
Which are the typical cultivar that you find in Tuscany and specific in Tuscany.
Come il frantoiano toscano.
So the frantoiano, which is the name of the miller, but it's also a name of variety of olives.
E il leccio del corno.
Also the leccio del corno.
E l'olivastra seggianese.
And of course the olivastra seggianese.
So let's talk about the olivastra seggianese. Most people have never heard this. What is it? Tell us about it. Romain.
Tante persone non hanno mai sentito parlare di questa.
Esatto, l'olivastra seggianese è una cultivar vulcanica.
So it's cultivar that come from a volcanic soil, because we live on the slopes of an ancient volcano.
Secolare.
Seculare.
Che cresce soltanto alle pendici del Monte Amiata.
Which only grows on the slopes of the Monte Amiata, where we are.
Molte aziende hanno voluto e provato ad esportarla in altre regioni d'Italia, anche all'estero.
Many farms and producers, they try to make this plant grow in different places in Italy, even in foreign countries.
Dopo 30 giorni lei muore.
But after 30 days, the plant it's not making it. It's dying, unfortunately.
A questo poi noi aggiungiamo anche spesso e volentieri una cultivar chiamata peranzana.
So to this we used to add another cultivar which is called peranzana,
che ha dei sentori di fruttato
which has
molto alti.
a very specific and high fruity aromas.
E poi abbiamo due cultivar segrete.
And then we have two little secret cultivar which has our little secret.
Ma oggi siamo così convinti del nostro prodotto.
But now we reach a point where we are so much convinced about what we are doing.
Che se ho il permesso di Charlotte potrei anche dirlo.
That if Charlotte allows us, we might be able to share this now, because we know the way we work this cultivar. Even if someone knows the receipt, they won't be able to make the same one.
In Italia hanno un soprannome, queste cultivar.
So they have nicknames, those two cultivar in
Vengono
Italy.
chiamate le regine.
So they are called the queens, both of them together, the queens.
E sono la coratina.
So one is the coratina.
E la tonda eblea.
And the other one is the tonda eblea.
Le olive che hanno più carica fenolica in tutto il mondo.
So they are the olives that have the highest polyphenolic content in the entire world.
So thank you. So you guys know the secret now. It's out. The cat is out of the bag. But once again, the way that Daniele works these olives, they are such difficult olives to handle that we find sharing this with you. So there you go. I see another question from Vicky Colvin. Hi, Vicky. Thank you for being here. How does Piro rate compares to other olive oil? Well, it's hard for us to answer that, first of all, but many chefs and many olive oil sommelier will probably answer that better than us. But what we've heard from very big and important guides and contests is that Piro was 2021 best in the world in our category, which was the medium fruity blend category. So I think we rate pretty high, but once again, there's a lot of wonderful olive oils in the world, many different countries, from Croatia to Greece to Spain to California, who make beautiful product. And we're very proud to be one of the top one with the other ones. Let me see, next question from Kim Harbor. Kim, thank you for being here and very nice to see you here. How many bottles are you currently producing a year? Well, what we are producing is different from what we are importing. We are producing this year 5,000 bottles of Piro. And this is what we have in the US right now. So it is a small production. It's very exclusive. And each year we do sell out of our production, way before the end of the year. So if you're interested, don't forget to order your New Year, olive oil, because yes, we do sell out every year. Next year, I'm hoping we will have the capacity to double this and go up to 10,000 for 2023. But let's see what the world brings us, because right now our main limit is really to find high quality glass for our bottles, and as supply is not very easy to handle. So let me go to Alison's question. Just want to thank you for the most fantastic product. Thank you, Alison. I know you're a client. I know your name.
Thank you so much.
And excellent webinar. Thank you so much. We can taste your love and passion in each drop. Well, thank you. We really appreciate that. Very cool. Thank you, Alison. We love it. Let's go back to Kim. Are your olives good to eat or just for oil? Oh my God. Let's talk about this, because that's yes, very good question.
So no, they're not, but they could be. So Daniele maybe wants to tell you something about this.
Per rispondere a questa domanda bisogna fare raccontare una piccola storia.
So to answer this question, I just have to tell you a quick story.
Allora, nel mondo non esistono olive nere.
In the world, there is no black olives.
L'oliva nasce sempre verde.
All the olives in the world, they start their life as green olives, and they become black olives.
La colorazione della drupa quindi della pelle di oliva,
So the color of the skin, of its skin,
è la colorazione della maturazione nel tempo.
it's the color of the maturation of the ripeness,
Of the ripeness.
ripeness in time of the olive.
Ed è qui la magia dell'olio e la magia di Piro.
And here's the magic of the olive oil and of Piro.
Perché per fare un olio di altissima qualità come Piro,
Because to make a very high quality extra virgin olive oil as Piro,
le olive devono essere solo ed esclusivamente verdi.
olives, they must be mainly, mostly, and only, I would say, green still, not yet changing color.
Perché la colorazione nel processo di estrazione dell'olio è un problema.
Because the color, the change, the fact the olive change of color for us would be a problem, something we would have to deal with, and we don't want that, so we process them still green.
Al contrario,
On the opposite side,
quando un'oliva va mangiata,
when you want to, an olive is supposed to be eaten,
la sua massima espressione è quando diventa nera.
the best that she would give is when it becomes very much oxidated, so black.
Quindi possiamo dire che l'olivo è un albero perfetto.
So we can say that the olive tree is a perfect tree because it gives you all this range of possibilities. Ecco.
I see another question, and this is a very interesting question. Alison, thank you for that. Are you exclusively online, or can you buy the product, or can our product be found in stores? So let me put a little call out there. We are looking for retailers. We do have some stores who are carrying us in New York City. We are in Greenville, South Carolina. We are in Miami, actually here at Chevre Miami at 1295 Coral Way. But we would like to be, and we are of course in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills at Monsieur Marcel and the cheese store of Beverly Hills. But we are looking for retailers. So dear friends, if you know of a good gourmet store or a high-end cheesemonger, even butcher shops in your town, in your state, and you think Piro should be there, let us know. We'll contact them and we'd love to work with them. We're also looking for a distributor. We know we're not big yet, but we need, to be able to be purchased. We would like to be in every state. So we're looking for people to help us. So thank you for asking this question, Alison, because that's very important. Let's go back to Kim Harbor. Another question. Any idea how old your olive trees are? Well, I was in at Podere Anteata just last November, and there was a tree that is still there right in front of the house. The house is from the 15th century, but they have a tree there that dates from the 13th century, right? This is the oldest tree we have.
L'età degli alberi?
No, quello più anziano, quello dello fine.
Lo dico con estremo orgoglio che è da lì prima della scoperta dell'America.
Sì, it was there before
the discovery of America by Christopher Columbus. So he was there in the early, we have a tree from the early 1400s at the farm. It's pretty amazing to be around them. Peter Oliva, so nice to hear you and so nice you're here. We love to see our clients. You guys are so awesome. Some praise. I love your olive oil. Thank you very much. So peppery. I use it on everything. I have, sorry, I
have waxed eloquent too.
I want to know if the bigger bottle will be used. Okay, I'll tell you about your next delivery that's coming up. By the way, we do have an awesome subscription program where you can sign up, save a lot on your purchase price, because this oil is not cheap. We retail at $59 for a half a liter Piro. But if you wanted to subscribe, you save 30% and free shipping. So please think about it when you shop with us. And we love to hear about our clients and about you guys. It looks like we went through most of the questions.
What I find is that the aroma on this is unlike anything that I've ever smelled for an olive oil. typically, I mean, feeling like this is freshly cut. You know, you can smell the grassiness of this. It has such a beautiful smell and aroma here. I just have never experienced anything like that in an olive oil, and I think that that is something to be, you know, very, very proud of. But also, it's exceptional. So, you know, in using olive oils, we have a lot of very, very different things that we can do. And I think that the application of being able to use it in a recipe and also as a finishing oil is a really good attribute as well. One of my favorite things is a marinated feta. And so I did that with this, and I have to tell you that I like it, but it's just so exceptional with the olive oil because it really brings out all of the flavors. I'm using a barrel aged from Greece, and I'm using a French sheep's milk. And I have to say is that it's bringing out even more of the flavors and richness, and there's a nice balance. You know, when you want the cheese and you want the recipe to be enhanced, but you don't want it to be overpowered. And I think that that's what this comes across. It really brings out the herbs. With the grassiness that this has, the herbs just explode. And I've never had that before in olive oil. So I think that's just such a fantastic experience, you know. And
great idea.
And you know, with the fetas, it just makes it so versatile. And you know, you can add that, put it on, bake it on a chicken, bake it on fish, just put it on French bread. And I found that it works really well with just a simple Chianti, a little Sangiovese, or a Pinot Grigio. But I did find that the beer also works very well with it. And the carbonation helps cut it just a little bit, but you know, there's a sweetness. This is a Belgian white, and so it doesn't have a lot of hoppiness, but it really brings in some wheat. So it's like adding a little bread to it, and they go absolutely perfect together. So cheers.
Cheers to you.
Una cosa?
Of course.
I would like to say something.
La valutazione nei concorsi dell'olio ha dei parametri identici ai concorsi per la birra.
So the way the olive oil are tested and judged and paneled are the same. Actually, they use the same technique as the one they use for beer contest.
Chi è un grande intenditore di birra di qualità,
So who is a specialist and really knows and understands about high quality beer
riconosce in un istante un olio di altissima qualità.
will instantly recognize a high quality extra virgin olive oil because using exactly the same technique of tasting.
Grazie davvero.
So thank you very much. We are very glad to hear that.
In my recipe, I usually add a little bit of peppercorn to it, but because this has a natural spiciness to it, it actually doesn't need that. You know, I can use less herbs in this recipe because the olive oil does all the hard work.
Exactly, you're
Yes.
right. I mean, it's you don't need to add to create any kind of sauce or whatever. Just the oil by itself, it makes everything because of all this specificity. You're right. Daniele wants
Do
to say
solo una
something.
piccola informazione noiosa, ma è importante per quello che ha detto lei.
I just need to tell you something. It's a little boring, but it's important to know it.
E l'olio Piro non sa di pepe o di peperoncino.
So olio Piro, it doesn't have the taste or aromas of pepper.
L'olio Piro ha realmente i toccoferoli al suo interno del pepe e del peperoncino.
But it really has in his essence the exact same toccoferol that has the pepper and the peperoncino. So I used to say, as an image, it's not correct on the scientific aspect, but I used to say they share the same DNA. So it's not like it has something that tastes or smell a little bit.
So you say it does not taste like pepper.
Yeah,
it tastes
pepper.
That's what it is.
Esatto.
Because they share this.
Alle molecole del
The
peperoncino.
molecules are the same that you find, and olives is the only fruit that has molecules that you find in other fruits and vegetables. It's the only one. Apple has all the tocopherol and molecules of apple. Artichoke, there has only the molecules and tocopherol of artichoke. But olives, and the variety we use, they have the tocopherol of the apple and of the tocopherol of the artichoke, sorry, and of the almond and of the pepper and peperoncino, and that's why it has all this. So it's fascinating what olives has, and that's why it's an amazing fruit. The tree is amazing, the fruit is amazing, and what man discovered to create, which is the extra virgin olive oil, is even more amazing. So we are thrilled to deal with all that because it's fantastic, it's very healthy, it's very tasty. It's only about experience and pleasure, and it's just greatness every day.
Thank you. Perfect.
Well, you know, when you're looking for an ingredient and you have this much advantage to the complexity of it, that it can add to the recipe, you know, this adds in such a large amount for, you know, being a olive oil that it's worth every penny, because you're driving out the flavors and the characteristics that you would not be able to get without the olive oil. And I think that is a real important point, as somebody that works very hard at using the right ingredients for a recipe is one of the most important things. And then having something that is going to take it to that next level, but not just the next level, the expansion is really what I noticed is that it enhances and it brings out other flavors in the characteristic that you're using it. So it's you know, it's really a way of being able to bring out those flavors that would be hidden without it. So very well done.
Well,
Couldn't agree more with all what has been said. And thank you so much for that, because
thank you so much.
It's everything. Thank you.
You have a prepared video, and I think it would be really nice to be able to show it for those that want a little bit more on hands. We're going to take you to the farm, and we're going to show you exactly how it's done. And I think it's just a beautiful video to end up the program. So go ahead.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you all, and the show. And please find us online. You find us at olio-piro.com, and thank you all for participating today. And thank you, Michael.
Grazie mille a tutti. Grazie.
Grazie a tutti.
Cuore, grazie.
We are now at Podere Anteata, where my brother Romain and his business partner Daniele grow the olives right here in those groves for the production of the Piro olive oil, and they are being milled right here around the corner at Frantoio Anteata.
We are here on the Mount Amiata, which was a volcano in the past. The entire region has a very fertile soil. Everything grows well here. Actually, the vineyard of Montalcino come from here 50 years ago. This place is really rich and gives us a lot to work with. It's a perfect circle already. We take the best out of it, but we don't modify it. This walled environment, which is naturally perfect, gives really the most perfect fruits. And this part of Tuscany, this little valley specifically, we really reach very high health qualities in the olive oil. The singularity of this place is it has a very specific variety of olive trees, which is called the Olivastra Seggianese, which gives a very specific olive, full of properties. It's fantastic. It's a very small, very round olive, and it gives the oil many, many healthy properties. We're in the mountains. It's not really easily reachable with a tractor, so you can't really come with big machines here. It's impossible. So you have to harvest by hand. We have a very short window of time to harvest the olives because we don't want them to be too ripe. When they are too ripe, the quality of the oil is lowered very much. So we have 3-4 weeks to really harvest the olives when they are ready. You pick up a fruit, you take it out of the tree, it starts oxidated, so you have to respect many rules before processing. So you want the perfect fruit to arrive to the mill, so you have to harvest fast. We harvest in the morning, and the fruit from the morning are already in the mill in the afternoon. They are processed in late afternoon, and in the evening you already have the oil from the olives harvested in the mornings. Of course, the olive is very important. The time, the moment you harvest, the way you harvest, everything is fundamental. But 70% of the quality of your oil is made in the frantoio by the machines and mainly by the person behind the machine.
Oltre ad una grande tecnologia ci vuole soprattutto una grande passione, un grande amore e un grande occhio del frantoiano. Quindi io non lascio mai la mia postazione, per me è il mestiere più bello del mondo.
We had this common idea of trying to make the purest, tastiest and healthiest olive oil possible. We started to create a recipe to try to find the perfect balance between an amazing taste, very high healthy properties, and also an oil that really lasts long. With this came out Piro. The blend that we decided to create for Piro is a mix of these varieties of olives that you find here in Tuscany, the Leccino, Moraiolo, Frantoio, and the Oliva Straceggianese that you find here on the Monte Amiata. And then we have the olives, the part of the recipe that we keep secret. Just harvested, they're gonna enter the frantoio, get washed to eliminate the bacteriological load at the maximum. So after being crushed, they're gonna enter the gramola under very specific and controlled temperature. This is where the magic is gonna happen. The extra virgin olive oil is gonna appear naturally inside this olive paste. Still with the idea of making the purest olive oil possible, we choose the technique of not adding water, so just using the natural water which is inside the fruit. We use a separator, which is a filtering system. If you remove most of those impurities, your oil is going to stay healthy and tasty longer in time, which is our goal. This is usually where most of the olive oil production stops after this filtering stage, but we are here working on another filtering system together with some scientists. We are working on this new machine. It looks different, it works different, it's totally revolutionary. It's still a prototype. The results were amazing. We couldn't believe us, the people working with us on this project. It was really mind-blowing. Immediately after having been filtered a second time, the oil is immediately stored under a nitrogen environment without having contact with oxygens, which is the main cause of alteration of your oil, until it's going to be bottled. That's the way that the bottle reaches you and the oil is perfect as it is the day we made it inside the mill.
Yeah.